What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we finally got the reveal of Vision. Vision, of course, was revealed a little while ago. We had the live stream which came around at Gen Con, which told us Vision was coming, but it didn't actually show us much about Vision. It gave us a look at a couple of cards. We didn't have a lot of information. We now do have a lot of information. And I'm sorry if this is starting to get a little bit repetitive, but as it turns out, what we've got here is a hero that looks very different to all the others and an awful lot of fun to play. And I'm not sorry because I love this. It's my favourite thing about Marvel Champions. So Vision then, we start off in Alter Ego with recovery of 3, hand size of 5, hit points of 11. And the hand size of 5 is actually kind of low. We would generally see 6 in Alter Ego mode, but the hit points are slightly higher than normal, so it's not the end of the world. The thing is, when you are in dense mass form, you get +2 recovery, and while you are in intangible mass form, you get +1 hand size. So, okay, going up to a hand size of 6 isn't that special, but going up to a recovery of 5 really is. And this is the point where we pause, because we need to look at these two forms. Incidentally, there is a setup ability here, whereby you put your mass form upgrade into play, intangible side up. Intangible means you cannot attack or defend, but you do reduce the amount of damage Vision takes from each attack by 2. So, essentially, if you're going to be in hero mode, but there's going to be lots of thwarting, and you just want to survive, this is perfect. But then on the other side, you've got Dense, which gives you +2 attack, +2 defense. And after you change to this form, you draw a card, which is awesome. So then we go to hero mode. You got thwart of 2, attack of 0, defense of 0, which sounds horrendous, but it really isn't. Because remember, if you are in intangible form, you can't attack or defend anyway, and if you're in dense form, you go up to just 2/2/2, which is your standard average stats. Of course, the pro move here is you start off on intangible, which gives you +1 hand size, so you'll actually have a hand size of 6, and then you flick to hero mode, and when you flick to hero mode, it lets you change mass form by flipping your mass form upgrade over, and then you flip to dense, and you actually end up with essentially 7 cards to begin your turn, which is great and way better than most. Incidentally, hand size of 5 in hero mode is alright. It's about as high as we generally tend to get naturally. So basically, the entire deck is built around switching between intangible and dense forms, and we have a whole bunch of cards to take advantage of it. So, for instance, we've got Vision's Cape, which says that while you are in dense mass form, you gain Retaliate 1, deal a damage when you're attacked. But while you're in tangible mass form, you gain Stalwart, which is you cannot be confused or stunned. So, with some villains, we all know there are certain points where they're going to stun you or confuse you. This will allow you to prepare for that, which is brilliant. And then, of course, you've got Solar Beam. Solar Beam is my favourite. I adore Solar Beam. 3 cost event. But if you're in dense mass form, you deal 7 damage. Dealing 7 damage for free is brilliant, and this will flat out take out big minions and also deal a significant amount of damage to the villain. But if you're in intangible mass form, you remove 5 threat from a scheme, and again, 7 damage or 5 threat removed is huge. Doing that for a 3 cost event is great. But of course then you've got to constantly be thinking to yourself, which form am I actually in? Not unlike we saw with Spectrum, but far more in terms of all the cards built around it. We've got the 1 cost upgrade density control. After you change mass form, you discard this card, and you add a Vision event from your discard pile to your hand. So it's basically a way to recover those events, like the aforementioned Solar Beam. Or we can look at Phase Disruption, a 2 cost event, which is only playable if you're in intangible mass form, and it lets you confuse an enemy, and then choose an attachment on that enemy with the text Hero Action or Hero Response, and discard it. We see that a lot of the villains do have these really powerful attachments that you can pay a bunch of resources to get rid of. this allows you to get rid of it without having to pay anything, which is clearly a wonderful, wonderful thing. So again, it's all to do with which form you're in, bearing in mind hero mode will allow you to switch once per turn, which I do think is very important. So you would, for instance, be allowed to play all of your cards for one form, and then switch to your other form, and then play all your other cards, so you can have some gigantic turns. You've just got to be really careful about how exactly you switch. We could also look at Mass Increase, a one-cost event which is only playable in Dense Mass form, and when you defend, you prevent all damage and stun the attacking enemy. So you basically buy yourself 2 turns in hero mode, your villain attacks, does nothing, and then the next turn they're stunned so they can't attack. That gives you 2 turns of attacks when nothing happens, which is clearly redonk. And then there's a part of the deck which is really all built around, well, your allies. But your android allies. So we've got 616 Hickory Branch Lane, a one-cost support that gives you an alter ego action, whereby you exhaust it, and you search your deck and discard pile for an android ally. And we've all had those turns where we desperately want a particular ally, but we can't find them, they won't come out. Well, great news, ladies and gentlemen, great news. Every turn that you're in alter ego mode, you can use this to find the right ally, which is clearly brilliant. So, every hero does have their signature ally. Here it's Vivian. 1 thwart, 1 attack, taking a consequential damage is uninspiring. 2 health, 2 cost is fine. There's nothing great about Vivian yet. But while you are in intangible mass form, you get +2 thwart, and in dense mass form, +2 attack. So Vivian is either free thwart, taking 1 damage, or free attack, taking 1 damage, and that is huge. And generally speaking, what we'd really want to do is use that once, and then use Vivian to defend and attack. But because we've got 616 Hickory Branch Lane, you can get Vivian back like every other turn, and this is going to be a huge bonus. Now, we do see that Vision comes out of the box with a protection deck, so we can look at Victor Mancha. And this is a weird kind of ally, because you've got 2 cost, 4 health. Generally, we're looking for them to be about even, not double. And then you've got 0 thwart, 0 attack, taking a consequential damage. So you've got this high health ally that does nothing. But you reduce the amount of damage Victor Mancha takes from each attack by 1. So essentially, this is a weird kind of ally that I don't remember seeing before, where the primary purpose is use this to defend against small minions. Small minions that are only doing 1 or 2 damage go down to 0 or 1 damage, and essentially, when there's little minions out there that aren't doing much damage, Victor will essentially take them off the board. It will buy you turns to be able to deal with them later, and I actually love this. We've then got Jocasta, 3 cost, 3 health, 2 thwart, taking 2 damage, 1 attack, taking a damage, don't like it. But you can play an event attached to Jocasta as if it were in your hand, and when Jocasta enters play, you choose a defense event in your discard pile and attach it. It basically lets you stash an event to play later, but I still don't like the stats on this. It's not my favourite ally. And there is one other ally that we were shown. It is a basic ally, Machine Man. 1 thwart, 1 attack. Taking a consequential damage is not great. 2 cost, 3 health is alright. I like having more health than cost. But when Machine Man attacks or thwarts, you may spend up to 3 resources of any type, and you gain +1 thwart and +1 attack for each resource spent this way. Which is clearly awesome, but it's also a lot. You're essentially paying 1 resource to get 1 attack or 1 thwart, and generally we don't love cards that are 1 cost, 1 damage. It's not good enough. What this does allow you to do, however, is firstly, empty your hand of cards you don't want to play while getting a benefit of it, which I do enjoy. And also, if you really need to do like 4 damage right now, Machine Man can do that 4 damage, and yes, you have to pay for it, and that's sad, etc. But it gives you an option that other allies just don't. We then do have just a couple of other cards we can talk about. Defiance is a zero-cost protection event. When a boost card on an enemy would be turned face up, discard it instead. Basically lets you cancel a bunch of boost icons on a boost card, which is cool. Flow Like Water is a 2-cost upgrade that is max 1 per player. And after you play a defense card, you deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. And if you're playing a protection deck, like it comes out the box, this is going to add up to a lot of damage throughout the game, which is clearly brilliant. And then we've got the basic card Reboot, a 1-cost event that lets you ready a friendly android character and heal 1 damage from it. But bearing in mind, Vision is an android character, and all of the allies I've shown you are android characters, and for a 1-cost card, that becomes fully OP, and I absolutely love it, ladies and gentlemen. This sounds fun. We're not given a date for Vision. We are told early 2022, but this one, again, it sounds like fun. Vision is not one of my favourite Marvel characters. It's not a character I really had high on my list of I can't wait. Vision was left out from the initial run of Avengers characters, and whereas a lot of people were upset, I was totally fine. But now I look at these cards and I'm like, android allies, lots of cards that take advantage of that, changing between forms to maximize strategy, and actually, yeah, I'm starting to get excited by this one, ladies and gentlemen, which seems to happen over and over again. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know how excited you are. I want to know, quite frankly, anything you want to tell me. So go nuts in the comment section, would you? But be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about a whole bunch of card games, Marvel Champions and otherwise. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.